In the Kenai watershed, salmon are the lifeblood of the community. They are ingrained into our lifestyle, culture, and livelihood. Big changes may happen in the Kenai that could impact the salmon. Wouldn't it be great to know what the future holds for the Kenai watershed? If we knew what might happen over the next 30 years, we might be able to create the best possible plan for keeping our salmon populations healthy. To help in this endeavor, a team of scientists created the Kenai scenarios, which allow us to peek into the likely or plausible futures for salmon in the year 2050. The local knowledge obtained from community stakeholders is imperative to creating successful scenarios. To begin the incorporation of local knowledge from the community, scientists conducted interviews. They focused on natural resource managers and city officials who are the most involved in the day-to-day activities that impact salmon. Through these interviews, scientists conducted a social network analysis which revealed the key natural resource managers when it comes to the decision-making processes that affect salmon. Those influential stakeholders then teamed up with scientists for the remainder of the scenario development process, providing key information that would help frame and inform the scenarios. To first frame the scenarios, the scientists needed to understand what were the biggest uncertainties facing the Kenai and how they might impact future salmon populations. Understanding these critical uncertainties allows the scientists to explore those factors at different levels to uncover potential scenarios of the future. Following many discussions, the top uncertainties were decided on by the stakeholders through an anonymous voting process. The 6 most critical uncertainties were then explored by the scientists using many different types of data. With the uncertainties defined, the beginnings of 5 different scenarios were developed. In order of largest uncertainty to smallest, the top 6 were environmental change, including climate warming resulting in a loss of freshwater habitat and increased stream temperature. Regional economy, such as new economic pressures in direct competition for salmon protection. Ocean conditions, changing marine conditions leading to loss of salmon access. Increased population and competition, resulting in more demand for fish as population and land use changes. Personal use fisheries, an increase in participation of the personal use fishery. Sport fishing, an increase in sport fishermen user days due to population increase. To complete the scenarios, the stakeholders mapped the implications of each scenario as well as their agency's responses. Mapping these possible implications helped everyone understand a bit more about the reality of some of these uncertainties. Mapping the implications enabled the scientists to get the long-term view necessary to create a complete picture of the possible futures for the Kenai watershed in the year 2050. Examples of these implications and responses include new boat ramp construction and maintenance, habitat protection, updating camping access, increased regulation or restriction on sport fishing, increased traffic, high water or flooding events, and enhanced fish hatcheries in rivers and lakes. After all the uncertainties were explored and implications were mapped, the team had a complete set of scenarios for salmon on the Kenai. These scenarios were developed in partnership with the local stakeholders, as well as a small steering committee who provided multiple rounds of review and feedback to the scientists. Scenario 1, Retirement Paradise. In this scenario, air temperatures have increased, there has been a decline in food for salmon, and as the economy slows, there is a decline in oil and gas development. A large population of retirees have flooded the Kenai and have taken to fishing, creating a new kind of tourism industry. Scenario 2, Industrial Boom. In this scenario, the new LNG facility was built in Nikiski and there is continued development of oil and gas in Cook Inlet. Temperatures have increased significantly, causing small rivers to get too warm, and ocean acidification has created a decline in the salmon populations. With all of these factors combined, interest in sport and personal use fishing has declined. Scenario 3, Fishing Capital. In this scenario, there has been a major increase in sport fishing in the Kenai watershed. Many new houses and fishing cabins have been built, and the regional population has exploded. Scenario 4, No More Sockeye. In this scenario, as you may have guessed, the sockeye salmon populations have been practically eliminated due to ocean conditions affecting their marine survival rates. In town, the economic development has remained the same, but population has dropped, as well as interest in sport and personal use fishing. Scenario 5, Back to Basics. In this scenario, the local population has remained stable, but personal use fishing has increased significantly. Sport fishing interest continues to increase, However, ocean acidification has led to a decline in salmon food, which has created a hardship for commercial fishing. Mileposts in the Kenai River fishery. So, how do we know which scenario or future we're heading for? Knowing which way we are heading allows us to make any changes to adjust our future. The milepost included in each of the developed scenarios helps us stay aware of the direction the Kenai is heading by tracking large events or decisions. Each milepost represents an important decision, implication, or response to various circumstances in the community and can set in motion a different future than before. Scenarios are a powerful tool that can help us strategically plan for the best possible future for the Kenai watershed. They are based on our current knowledge but look long-term to determine the possible outcomes, depending on our choices. All of our choices today will influence the future of salmon in the Kenai watershed. The key is to work with others who share your vision for Kenai salmon and work towards that future together. We hope these scenarios will serve as a reminder that the future is not set and that decisions we make can benefit or hinder whether or not the salmon of the Kenai keep coming back. The value here is not the stories themselves, but the opportunity to look at how the future may unfold in case we need to adjust course and find a new path forward. For more information, visit the Salmon 2050 website.